Welcome to the Top Listing Agent Show, the place to be to stay on the cutting edge of what it takes to sell more homes in less time. Each week, your host, Chadi Bazzi, will share with you the best skill sets, systems, and strategies so you can become a top listing agent. And now, let the show begin.
So, good morning and happy Wednesday, top listing agents. Chadi B in the house. I want to talk to you guys about something on a perfect day to be talking about it. So, as you notice in the title, I said month one is down. Okay, so you can say round one of 12 rounds this year is down. 11 more to go. So, what do you got to do differently to win big in 2018 is what we got to talk about. So I'm gonna try to make this as simple and as fast as I possibly can. And I'll begin to say, you know, you gotta create new rituals that you take yourself through. You gotta have monthly rituals, you gotta have weekly rituals, you gotta have daily rituals, you gotta have quarterly rituals, etc. But what I'm gonna talk about today is a monthly ritual that you gotta put in place, like literally today, and you know, follow the ritual every single month, because you're putting in the work, you're doing the work, and whether you're getting results or not, the lessons are showing up. And a lot of times a lesson shows up and we either dismiss it and or forget it. And that's the mistake that we are making as a result of making a huge mistake by not having rituals in place. Okay? So the ritual that I'm talking about is creating the habit of doing a monthly review and a monthly planning session. Monthly review and a monthly planning session. So today, later on today, at the end of today, would be the perfect day for you to do that. So you begin by reviewing your January, okay? If you would have already planned out your month of January, then you would know the following numbers. Number one, you would know how many days you plan to work in January. Number two, you would know how many hours you plan to do lead generation. Number three, you would know how many contacts you committed to make. Number four, you would know how many listing appointments you had a goal to set. You would know how many listing appointments you set a goal to actually go on. And you would have a listing taking goal, and a listing sold goal, and a buyer appointment goal, and a buyer sale goal, and a closing amount of deals goal, and an income goal. Okay? That would have been like the starting point of what you would have committed to for the month of January. Okay? So now what you would do today is you would take a look at all these commitments, and to the right of every single goal, you're going to write down what you actually did. So you said you were going to work 22 days. How many days did you actually work? You would write that number down. You said you were going to prospect a specific amount of hours. How many did you do? You would write that number down. And then what you would see is you would see in one column your commitments, and in the next column you would see your reality. So there's the commitment, and then there's the reality, okay? And then you gotta face reality, and you gotta answer some hardcore questions. So for example, if you made a commitment to you know, let's say go on 3 listing appointments, and you only went on 1, well, now you gotta ask yourself the question, why? Why? Crazy?
Yep.
It's like, you know, what happened? And you got to figure out what got in the way. Like, what got in the way? What prevented you from honoring that commitment, from reaching that goal? What prevented you? See, if you don't know and you can't put your finger on what got in the way, guess what? Next month, it's going to get in the way again. And you know exactly what I'm talking about, because there's a lot of you that make the same commitments each and every single month, yet never ever hit and or honor your commitments. It's because you haven't put your finger on the reason why things get in the way. To be more specific, you haven't figured out the reason why you get in the way. So I would take a look at that, and then let's take that a little bit further, okay? Actually, let's not take it a little bit further in a review. Let's go ahead and create right now a session. So some of you guys want to watch this on replay later. See, we should probably turn this into a podcast episode. I think it would be good. Okay, so let's do that. So what you want to do is you want to plan your next month right now. So you get a blank piece of paper, okay, and you write down month, whatever the month is. So you can do this for the rest of the year. So February 2018, 30-day business plan, even though there's no 30 days in February. And you would begin by writing down the following. I'm going to walk you through the whole thing step by step. So this is an actual training session that you're receiving right now. 1, how many days am I going to work in February? Pull out your calendar, count the days that you're going to work in the month of February. 2, how many hours am I going to do lead generation? Count the days. You already know how many days you're going to work. Multiply that by the amount of hours you're going to prospect every single day. And there are the hours that you're going to prospect in the month of February. How many people am I going to connect and speak with? Meaning how many contacts in the month of February? Next, how many listing appointments do I want to set? Next, how many listing appointments do I actually want to go on? Next, how many listings do I want to actually sell? Next, how many buyer appointments do I want to go on? Next, how many buyer sales do I want to do this month? Next, the amount of listings that you said you're going to sell and the amount of buyer sales that you said you're going to do, add those together, and that is for the next category, total sales for the month. Multiply that by your average commission check, and that becomes the final column on that sheet, which is your income goal. So now we have your goals for the month of February. You should take a look at these goals every single day. But let's take this list a little bit further. The next question I want you to write down below those numbers is this. Who do I need to be? Who do I need to be to become the kind of person who will reach those goals? Who do I need to be to become the kind of person who can and will reach those goals? And make a list of who it is that you need to be. For example, I need to be focused. I need to be energetic. I need to be committed. I need to be on purpose. I need to be driven. I need to be honest. I need to be a leader. Okay, I need to be a risk taker. I need to be on time. I need to be a doer, etc. Identify who it is that you need to be. And all the things that you identify or the things you need to be, what you got to do is you got to turn those into affirmations, and you got to read those like all day, every single day, to remind yourself to bring back into focus who you need to be to become the kind of person to be able to reach the goal. After you answer that question, I want you to write down the next question. What is the most important system I need to put in place and or improve this month? So just work on mastering one system in your business for this month. Just one, just all month, your focus is on mastering one single system. So what is that system? Identify it so you could work on it. Next, write down this question. And the question is, what is the single most important skill I need to develop and or master this month? So again, you let the whole entire month be single focused on one very critical, more important skill that you want to master, whatever that may be. I'll give you guys a hint. The single most important skill that you need to be working on mastering right now is your listing presentation. Hands down, listing presentation. So out of the top of my head, this pretty much completes a monthly planning session and a monthly review session. So since we are turning this into a podcast episode for our podcast peeps, thank you very much for your listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.